Hi, yes, greetings and welcome to you, brave citizens of our new world. I'm Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt. This is our layer 3.1, and today is Questions Thursday. As much as I love the cute little beard, hashtag CLB, and he plans to return to the full beard. I mean, kind of. I've been thinking about it a lot, like growing that area back in, growing back in the mustache, but in every iteration that I've tried, it doesn't grow in so well on the top. Like I get streaks of blonde in it that don't show up on camera. So a lot of times when I'm taking photos and things, it does not show up. Like it looks like I've got whole sections missing. So I'm gonna see if I can try to figure that out. And if and when I do that, then I'm probably gonna try again anyways sometime this winter, perhaps. We'll see. It never occurred to me until now, but do you think that it's a good idea to vlog when your enemies could be watching and would one day use what you say online to plot your demise? For the most part, BoobTube, everything that I put online, I do so with the intention, perhaps sometimes even the hope, that they are listening. With the main objective of world domination in mind, we can both agree that there is a need for trustworthy allies. Would you establish, let's say, a registration for villains wishing to join your rank and or helping you as affiliates? This way you may assemble a database of people supporting your cause with their informations. You know who are your allies, what they are capable of, and who would be more appropriate for certain missions. And it's easier to identify deserters and traitors and being able to punish them accordingly if need be. Former allies going rogue is one of the greatest banes of our existence, and we wish that it never occurs to you ever again. Losing you once was already tragic enough. You know, with pushing into greater avenues and larger stages of supervillainy, I suppose you may be right. Maybe I do need some friends. With all the talk about meat/food industries and your plans for them, would I still be allowed to care for and work with honeybees and sell their honey and wax? My bees may be cat-sized and like to crash land full force in lavender bushes, but please don't take away my fuzzy babies. You underestimate me, Newt After Dark, and my love for honeybees. Specifically bumblebees. I just cannot get enough of bumblebees. I think they're super adorable. They're like the big fuzzy idiot lumps of the insect world. They're my favorite. Just bonking into stuff. But yeah, I've got no reason to get rid of the honey industry because as far as I understand, the like having honey farms not only is good for the surrounding area in terms of pollination and just in general ecosystem balance, but having a lot of bees in farms doesn't, from what I understand, and I might be wrong, it doesn't harm the bees in any way. There are a lot of new beehives now that exist that farmers can use, which you just turn a tap on the back of it and it empties some of the honey out, and then you close it, and as long as you only take so much, then the bees will be fine come whatever season. So there are lots of ways to have bees and it still be humane, and really that's the objective, that's the goal at the end of the day, right? Are you saying I should come up with my own power system than using mind control on the power company's cronies? I know that crack about the abandoned warehouse was about me. Ah, Garbolus the mutant. Always good to see you drop by. Yes! Stop using your mind control junk and fiddling around with people at the power stations. Lots of the citizens still need that kind of stuff, and it's a lot easier to catch you if you just go to the power stations and look for people that have been tampered with. Make up your own stuff. It'll be easier for you to hide. And it's also more fun. Just make stuff. Speaking as an American, Canada's approach to freedom of expression is so refreshing to hear about. That being said, your particular approach to the issue of free speech versus hate speech raises questions. You mentioned you'd make exceptions to the general "this group of people sucks" rhetoric for things like sports, but what about politics? Granted, I fully expect to see the death of democracy in your brave new world, TM, but will this also mean the death of being allowed to question, criticize, and even insult authority? P.S. Looking forward to vat-grown meat, all the fat, none of the guilt. Yeah, see, that's the spirit. But yeah, there absolutely is not going to be a death of people speaking freely about their displeasure for authority or for the government. If people have concerns like this is what I want. I want a dialogue between me and the people that I'm trying to take care of. So again, when I'm planning on allowing the sort of yelling back and forth of that group sucks between sports teams, it's because they don't matter. So in Canada, our freedom of expression does stop hate speech, but it does not stop sports fans from yelling at each other. Unless that yelling falls into then hate speech, which is getting into things that are not to do with their team. Jokes are allowed, comedy is still allowed, but it's always kind of treading that line, going between, people making fun and having fun and telling jokes, or people legitimately meaning harm. And in some cases, people don't mean harm, but they cause harm with the things that they're doing, and that needs to be monitored a great deal. But at no point in time am I going to stop letting people voice concerns to the government. And it's one of the things that I'm going to be, when I run for mayor, just talking about as one of my biggest platforms, and that is just talking to the people, seeing what their big concerns are, seeing what the things that they would like to see more of or what they would like to see as better in their neighborhoods, just in the part of the city that they live in, and trying to open a dialogue between the citizens and the people in charge. If our planet was invaded by aliens and you were conscripted to work as a scientist to build defenses to stop the invaders, how would you use this scenario to further your own plans to take over the world? Would you create cyborgs that have secret programming that make them loyal to you? Shut up, man. Freaking don't. Come on. Hey Doc, you've got quite the mad ring game. That's a technical term. As a fan of rings myself, thought I could convince you to show them in a bit more detail. Any fond memories or stories about getting them? When I first moved to Toronto a very, very long time ago, my brother took me to a pirate festival that was happening in the summer, and he bought me these three right here. And the one on the pinky is the Wheel of Fate with an unending knot attached to it. That is a Celtic unending knot. That one just looked cool. This one I got at the Highland Games a few years ago to replace a different ring that was given to me for very different reasons that I don't want to get into, but it does have the function of me kind of like sliding and rolling the little bit that's on there, and I thought it was nice, and I wanted to give the ring back, but wanted to get something to replace it. Snowball fight? What, in May? Yeah, you know what? Yeah. So Doc, your plans are to do away with all animal industries. Bye-bye dairy with cheese and ice cream and half for our coffee. Bye-bye eggs and wool. Those things don't kill the animals. Why get rid of them? If animal husbandry practices could be updated to be more humane, would you still allow them? And do you realize that the end of the beef industry would mean the extinction of beef breeds of cattle and pigs, right? Why would farmers spend lots of money to raise and support animals that they get no benefit from? Do you think the existence of these domestic breeds is valuable in and of itself, or do you think that letting the last members die off in comfort is the correct solution? Well, I mean, there's a couple of things there. One, if I gave the impression that I was going to crush any industry that involved like animals in general, then I apologize if that was interpreted incorrectly. That's not what I intended. Any industries that slaughter creatures can be replaced with products that do not require the slaughter of creatures, and that's the plan going forward. As for the particular breeds that they have, yes, a lot of those creatures were bred specifically to be killed and then cut up and fed to people, which, okay, but I think that it would be alright just letting them live out the rest of their lives in a humane fashion, just, you know, giving them fields to graze in, whatever, and eventually when they die off, if people want to keep breeds of them as pets, then sure. Like, we have loads of breeds of different pets that benefit us in no way other than the fact that they're adorable. I think cows are so adorable. So if people want to keep them like alpacas or whatever that they don't ever plan to actually shave, they just have them because they're fun, then sure, I don't have any problems with that. As for other industries like eggs or wool or things like that, those don't inherently, or at least there are ways of doing those industries that don't inherently harm the creatures at hand. The dairy industry, I changed my tune on when I found a lot of the things that they had to do to the cows in order to get them to give milk as often as they do, and it's not, in my opinion, a humane thing, and it's not okay. Whereas, like, my mother keeps a few chickens free range on a hobby farm that she has, so there are ways of having free range chickens. I love eggs, so I definitely don't want to see the end of eggs, but there are ways to peacefully get eggs without causing harm to chickens. If there was a way that we could peacefully get milk from cows without causing harm to the cows, then sure. I don't mind that. But there are a lot of alternatives presently that don't require the harm of any animals. So, I mean, it falls back to the same question or the same answer that we had last time, which is if you have an option now to get the same thing or at least a comparable product without harming creatures, then why choose to harm creatures? Like, if you have a choice now, then why choose that? Hey Doc, I know that eventually we'll have to fight, which I would really hate to do. I like you, and you have some good ideas that I think need to be implemented. My question is, what if they don't send me to get you? What if it's Futurina or Astra? Their powers are far more terrifying than mine. I imagine, Cat Monroe, I would survive. As I always do. And I'm not going to tip my hand, but I have ways of getting around even those people. And that is all the questions that we have for today. Oops. I'll have to go get that later. So thank you everybody for coming on out to our video here. Thank you for sending in your questions, for leaving them in the comment section down below. I absolutely love getting these and reading through them and answering which ones that I can. Sorry about no Warfront earlier this week. I'm very busy trying to work on some back-end stuff here, and it's kind of filling my hands a little bit, but I'm very determined to at least, as I said, get one video out every week, and if it's this, then that's fine. And I've got a couple, I've got like a long list of other stuff that I'm very excited to work on, so it's gonna be good. So until then, thank you again everybody who left your questions. If you have more questions, or if your question wasn't answered, feel free to leave it in the comments section down below. And until next time, my brave citizens, I'm Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt. This is our Layer 3.1, and I will see you on the Warfront. End of line.